Hello everyone, I hope you're doing really well and having a good day. It is finally time for me to plant my summer containers. This has been long awaited. The weather has finally warmed up enough for me to do this. I've been slowly gathering plants. I'm doing a mix of perennials, annuals, vines, a rose, and I want to make a stunning, unique, arrangement on my porch, something that really draws your eye in and that feels like a little miniature garden in and of itself. I'm doing quite a mix of things here, but my color palette is quite refined, and it is going in the theme of this honey and then this chocolate maroon and blush cream, and then with a little pop of blue. So I actually have behind me leftovers from my spring containers, which I'm going to be pulling out because they don't go all this purple. But I am going to leave in the ivy in both of these faux bois containers. I'm going to be taking out the white bleeding hearts, and I'm going to be transplanting them into my garden because they are perennial, as well as the primroses. So the only thing staying in these two containers here are going to be the ivy, and then I'm going to be planting everything else up. So to go over the items that I picked up, I am actually even going to try to experiment and include some of my leftover seedlings in my containers and just see how they perform. They're really small right now, and so I'm going to see how they compete in a more crowded environment. I challenged myself last year and I planted primarily all of my pots with annuals that I started from seed, and they were very slow to get going, but it was so satisfying mid to late summer because they were full and big and beautiful, and it was only things that I started from seed. I'm thinking specifically that Nicotiana did amazingly well. The phlox in my raised bed containers did really well. I'm going to test out some phlox in these containers. I found last year, like for example, my phlox did the best in my blueberry bed because I had added a lot of soil acidifier to it, and the phlox performs best with more acidic soil. Anyway, so this is just fun and experimenting, and I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration of what you could do with a future pot container arrangement yourself. So I've got a mix of things, and I'm just feeling out how I want to lay them out. But I do have two of these. These are from Proven Winners, obviously. This is the Midnight Lace Sweet Potato Vine, and I've got one here. I think that color contrasts so beautifully with the honey apple green color of this pot. And then I have several of these dotted around these containers are these Super Cal light yellow petunias. And if you can see here, they're this beautiful honey color with that maroon veining, that chocolatey maroon, which again I think will look really nice with the sweet potato vine. And then I have one of my favorite annuals to use. This is not the best example because it's looking a little tired, although it's going to pick up. Let me grab this one. Chocolate Cosmos. Chocolate Cosmos is such a beauty. See if we can get it to focus here. There we go. And it doesn't really have a smell right now, but sometimes it does. But I've included Chocolate Cosmos in these front two containers as well as this back container. I'm not doing anything super repetitive or identical. I'm just having things kind of mixed, but hopefully the overall effect will be cohesive. I have dotted through some more of those Super Cal petunias. I have the Meteor Shower Verbena from Proven Winners. This will get about 30 inches tall. And then I have in here just one. This is a Gara. This variety is called the Bride. Yeah, this is called the Bride. It's a white Gara. So we'll get that beautiful dancing effect. And then I do have some blue lobelia dotted around for a touch of blue. And then I am including some of my Origeron daisies which I just love. I even have a container just of Origeron daisies in the back. I love containers with just one thing in it, especially something like Origeron I think is just gorgeous. And then I have yet to mix together the plants I'm putting in these two because I have to pull those out. Remember, I still have some of my seedlings to add in. And then in this back pot right now, I've got more of that Super Cal Pale Yellow petunia with the Midnight Lace sweet potato vine, a lobelia, and then this Emily Bronte David Austin rose, which performs well in containers. I just want that lush, just something really special about having a David Austin rose in a container right by your front door. And I have the Teasing Georgia, which is that soft yellow on the opposite side. So I think the contrast between the yellow, which will tie into the yellow in the pots, and then that beautiful soft blush color of the Emily Bronte, which has this very soft pale yellow center, will just tie in really nicely. And then I don't want to forget, so in this container I have Origeron daisies, lobelia, the chocolate cosmos, a meteor shower verbena, and then I have on order a willow trellis, those little cone obelisk trellises, and I'm going to put it here. And then I have one of my favorite clematis or clematis, which I grow in multiple places in my garden, Betty Corning, to climb up around that obelisk and let it just kind of go off into the Teasing Georgia rose. And it has that beautiful bell flower and it's fragrant. So having that fragrance right by the front door, I think is going to be really nice. But I will go ahead and get close up when everything's planted so you guys can really see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to go for it. So I've got raised bed or potting mix in the pots already. I just filled those up. I'll probably have to top off the other two containers, and then I think what I'm going to do is just mix in some biotone to these pots because I'm dealing with some of the some perennials. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use biotone on everything today. So that is the steps done. I'm going to get closer so you can kind of see what I did. So for this first pot here on the right, there are the sweet potato vine, chocolate cosmos, the yellow petunia, the white bride, or the bride gara, some blue lobelia, which I think will fill in really nicely in contrast against the pot. And then back here in the faux bois container, there is the ivy. This is a ladybird rose nasturtium I started from seed, which will also trail over. And then there are two Aztec zinnias in there, which will kind of be a nice filler. And in the back, there's a little tiny start of Nicotiana, which will get that chocolate bell flower that the hummingbirds just love. And then of course the meteor shower verbena for some more height and color. And then in this pot in the back, I left space in the back of the pot for that willow, so it'll be this texture obelisk. And I'll show you, actually, I have a couple of them. I just ordered a couple more in that back there. And then I might have to, unfortunately, replace that Betty Corning clematis because it snapped in a couple of places along the vine. And I know it will probably grow back from the root. She's really tough, but I just don't know if she's going to die off in those places and not flower, and I want it to look nice. So full disclosure, I might have to replace her. Unfortunately, that makes me so upset. But I have the Profusion Origeron daisies here in the front. So those are the Profusion Origeron daisies. Another ladybird rose nasturtium here. And then the chocolate cosmos, the blue lobelia, the meteor shower verbena. And then in this pot here we have the Emily Bronte David Austin rose, and she is about to open up in bloom. So below her we have that yellow petunia that has the burgundy chocolate striping, the midnight lace, I believe, sweet potato vine, and then I popped in another ladybird rose, nasturtium to trail down, and then I have some phlox. This is creme brulee phlox. I think I popped 3 in here. So I just want to see how those fill in, and that will give that nice fluffy mid-story between the roses and the trailing plants if they grow up and do well, and those will just keep blooming and blooming and blooming until the autumn and be beautiful again if they do well. And then in the back some of the blue lobelia. And then in the second pot, a lot of annuals. So I have the Origeron daisies and the ivy. And then I have the chocolate nicotiana. I will put the exact variety in the notes. And then I have the little Aztec zinnias that I started from seed here. That will fill in the mid-story, and then the meteor shower verbena in the back. And lastly, this pot has the blue lobelia, the Origeron daisies, chocolate cosmos, the honey-colored petunia with the chocolate striping. So that's it. We have a mix of a rose, vine, perennials, annuals, ones I started from seed, ones that I bought, and it will just be kind of fun to see this fill in, and I will give you guys updates as the season goes along on how it's looking. So here is a flat that I picked up of Origeron daisies. I used 2 of them for those pots up there. I had a third left over in the back from the previous project, and the rest of these I think are going to go in my terrace wall, spilling out of the wall, which I want to see what that does. I think it will be beautiful. Okay, so I had to do a little behind the scenes of this. I bought 2 of these. There's one here and then there's one behind it of this delphinium, which I've never seen before. It's on the shorter side. It stays only about 27 inches tall, so it'll be front of the border. And it is this coral pink color, just gorgeous. And I love any delphinium, and this is a beautiful color I've never seen before. The variety is called Red Lark. Here is the tag. Look at that color. Look at that color on a delphinium. Just really, really something special, I think, no? I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this inspired you to try out some containers with annuals that you start from seed, or to mix roses and things that you might not expect to see in summer containers in your garden. I know that it gives such a satisfying initial impact to have big annuals to plop into our containers, and I love that too, but maybe that's not in your budget. Maybe you want to try unique varieties that you can only start from seed. Either way, I hope that this inspires you. I hope that you will join me as we follow these containers along and see how they perform this summer. You know, you never know, and they could, I'm hoping that they're beautiful, but I'm sure I will learn some things and take note of them for next year. It's always a work in progress. There's always something to learn in the garden, and that's part of the joy of it. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Happy gardening.